Hey guys, welcome to a new video, and today we're going to take a look at this thing. This is a 10-inch IPS 2560 by 1600 little display. It's quite tiny, with DisplayPort HDMI, powered over USB, for 80 bucks. Do I need to say more? Let's take a little closer look. Okay, so what is there to say about a monitor? Well, let's first take a quick look at the ports. As I said, it has DisplayPort and HDMI for your video input. I tested those both, DisplayPort with some NVIDIA graphics cards, and HDMI for everything from onboard Intel to NVIDIA and ATI even, I think. And that all worked fine. It has 5-volt USB and a 12-volt barrel plug. Again, I tested both. Both work fine. It uses about 4 to 5.5, 6 watts from the USB port. So as long as it's USB 3, because that's able to deliver about 1 amp, I believe, most of the time that will be fine. As you can see here, I've hooked it up to my laptop USB port, but I've also hooked it up to my servers as a little console screen. And, well, that's been working fine. I also tried it on a Raspberry Pi 4, but on the onboard USB hub, the power would sometimes reset. So I just used an external USB brick to power it, and then it was fine again. It's also compatible with a Raspberry Pi 4. And yeah, this is just a pretty good, very low price, small little monitor. I mean, here it is on one of the 2 included stands. Hold on, let me get those. This video is very well prepared. This is one of those foldy style. Well, I guess I have to fold it the other way. There we go. Fold style stands, so it folds together. So if you want to take it along in your bag to use it as a secondary display for your laptop, for instance, well, that's going to work just fine. And if you want to mount it somewhere, they actually give you this little guy. It screws in the back. And it also has an adhesive pad or screw holes here that you can attach it to the wall or something else, for instance. And it has even more mounting options. It has a little tripod socket down the bottom here. And it has the slit here where this guy goes in and then locks down. And then it also has a 75mm VESA mount. Again, if you want to mount it to an arm or the wall or something like that. So that's really versatile. It's not a touchscreen, but as I said, it is IPS, so the viewing angles are quite good. And, well, it is very high resolution too. I had my DPI scaling at 200% in the pictures to just give a nice picture, I guess. But if you wanted to lower that to 150%, if you're sitting close to your laptop anyway, this is a great secondary screen. It's bright enough, maybe not for outdoors, but certainly for indoors, and it's just so sharp. So if you want to have something to take along, and for me, I basically bought this because I'm going to do some stuff with a Raspberry Pi, and I just wanted to have an easy screen to take along. But it's come in use for so many more things. For instance, I have all kinds of servers in the house and stuff like that. And I used to lug around this, I think it's a 21-inch widescreen, because it's that old, monitor. But just look at the size difference, and just being able to power this over USB on the front of the server, or and then just plug in HDMI. That's just awesome. So, as you can tell, I'm really excited about this thing. This isn't going to be a giant review, hours long, testing everything. So the pros are powered over normal 5-volt USB, so any phone adapter or most of the time onboard USB ports will work just fine. It has HDMI and DisplayPort. It actually comes with with a little HDMI cable, which I used in all the tests. And that worked perfectly fine, even with the 2560 by 1600 444 chroma. I did test that at 60 hertz. And it comes with this USB cable, which is USB-A to USB-C. Now, I tried some other cables, and most USB-A to USB-C cables worked fine. The port on here is actually USB-C, but it's kind of like USB-C. It's just 5 volt in with a USB-C plug. So if you have a USB-C port on your laptop, it's kind of up in the air if it'll work or not. If I used one of my little power adapters, I could get it to work, but it's basically because this thing requested the power. If I didn't, it was kind of half working sometimes. So stick with USB-A for that, I guess. You could try USB-C, but yeah. It has buttons. Oh, this review is kind of chaotic. To set some settings, basically the screenshots you're seeing or the photos you're seeing are everything set to default. And that's 50 brightness and contrast, which looked great to me. It actually has speakers which do work over HDMI. The quality is, well, if you ever heard ChinaGadget speakers, that's the quality of the sound. It's actually not the most horrible I've heard, but I wouldn't want to listen to it that much either. So, yeah, it has speakers. But yeah, for 80 bucks, this is a killer deal. If you want to do anything with a Pi, or you have like servers that you don't have a monitor hooked up normally, and you just want something you can take along, plug in a USB port, plug in HDMI, and get a screen, awesome. It's a bit bulky maybe for in a tiny laptop bag, but if you have a bigger bag, that should work fine. So those are all the pros, I guess. Downsides, well, the only thing I've been able to find is that if you look really close, I think the LED matrix, or the LCD matrix, I should say, inside isn't normal RGB. I think it might be some sort of pentile or other arrangement, but then you have to look really close. And for instance, in Windows and stuff like that, I couldn't really see it. The only time I'd see it if I was on a Linux console and native font, and then it becomes really tiny. But that's like one line reconfigure to change the font size. I'll, put it down there. Then I could maybe see it. It wasn't really bad. It just like, is that fully sharp? I don't know. But as soon as I up the font, which you want to do anyway, looked perfectly fine. So, yeah, portable media player, because it's IPS, it has great viewing angles, it has good light output, doesn't use a lot of power, so you can just run it off the battery from your laptop. I like it. I'm actually thinking of maybe getting a second one, just so I can throw this in my LAN party bag, for instance, and have a second screen there. I actually used it on my main PC for about a week, where I just had my for instance, my Discord screen or my Discord and some statistics on there. And depending on the scaling you set with 2560 by 1600, you actually have a lot of real estate. It gets really tiny, so you have to have it close, like, watch the screen really close. But the quality is absolutely there. It's with the package with all the cables included. Yeah. So I got this from Banggood. Well, I bought this from Banggood. I don't get things from Banggood. Maybe I could. I don't know. But I'll post a link to there in the description. I think I found the same one on AliExpress too. On AliExpress it was like 90 bucks, and on Banggood it's like 80 bucks, and often you can get like a few dollars off with some rebates and stuff like that they have going on. So if you're in the market for a monitor, you can just hook up somewhere and have a little bit of screen, and then but still have a decent quality, no TN stupid viewing angle, too dim, whatever crap. Even dropped it once or twice. No problemo. So yeah, this is my very unscripted, very non-scientific, just look at the pictures you've been seeing while I've been doing this review. And thanks for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.